Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today I have kind of sort of a hack for you. I found this stretch woven, so it's a woven fabric. It's pretty stable, but it does have a little bit of a stretch. Now it doesn't have a ton of stretch, let's see, but I mean it does have pretty good stretch, but it's still a woven fabric. And I thought this would make the most beautiful premier pencil skirt. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sew up the premier pencil skirt using this stretch woven. First I'm going to tell you how much stretch it has because it does have pretty good stretch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to size up one to make sure it fits. The premier pencil skirt has a negative ease, so it's supposed to really fit it around the hip and everything. So I want to have a little bit more ease, not just because of the fabric, but because I would like it to be a little bit more ease around the hip. And so I'm going to size up one, and then I'm going to add a zipper to the waistband so that I can get in and out of it easier. And then I'm going to show you what the results are. That way, if you want to make the premier pencil skirt in a woven, you kind of have an idea of how to do it and how to install a zipper when there's not meant to be a zipper already in the skirt. So let's get to it. I'm super excited. All right, friends, we're gonna get started. I printed a size up from what I fit into. And so there is a big difference because I printed two sizes, my size and then the one up next to it. Because this pattern has negative ease, I definitely want to size up. You can look at the finish measurements, and because I'm using a woven, I don't want it to be negative ease, which means I don't want it to be tighter than my body, which is what knits usually do because they stretch. I want it to fit my body nicely up to my body, but since woven doesn't really stretch, even though this woven has a lot of stretch, I don't want to go with something that is tighter than my body because it's not going to be given a lot of give. So I went a size up on mine. And another thing I'm going to do is I don't want it to be tapered in at the leg. So I'm going to go from the hip and go in just a little bit, but then I'm going to continue straight. So like right here, if you see this right here, I'm going to go in at the hip, and then I'm probably going to continue to go straight out like this. So at the end, it ends up not narrowing down at the leg as much. So it's more of a straight fit here. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. But before I get started cutting, I told you I was going to show you how much stretch this fabric has. So that's what I'm going to do now. But how I'm going to measure that stretch is you can go ahead and grab a ruler. Or, you know, I have my mat here, and you're going to grab 4 inches. So I'm going to start in the middle of my fabric somewhere. It's folded in half. I'm going to grab here at the start of the 4 inches. I'm going to grab at the 4 inches, and then I'm going to pull my fabric. You see that? Now, this fabric pulls nicely to about 5.5. So that means it's got about 30% or 40% stretch. Okay, so in recovery, it's got pretty good recovery. So that means because this would be 100%, this is 100% here. So as I stretch, next inch would be 25%. The next inch after that would be 50%. And then the next would be 75, and then 108 would be 100% because that's double. You don't want to stretch your fabric so hard that it disfigures all, you know, try to get it to reach the 8. You literally are just pulling it until it gives here. So it looks like it's about 25% stretch here. You know, just kind of pull it so that it's not getting too tight. I think I pulled that a little too tight first time. So it's about 25% stretch, 20 to 25% stretch. That's how you can tell what kind of stretch your fabric has. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and cut my pattern out. And then we're going to come back and sew it. And like I said, I'm going to be adding a zipper, so I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do that. All right, I'm going to show you how I'm cutting this. Make sure that you're going with the stretch. I'm going with the stretch on this fabric. And what I'm going to do is you can actually, if you want to grab a ruler, I'm kind of just going to eyeball it. Like I said, I'm going to follow the curve of the hip. But then when I get to like right about here, I'm just going to continue to go kind of straight out instead of coming in at the leg. I want it to go kind of continue to go straight. So if you can see here, I'm just kind of go straight like this. So I'll grab my rotary cutter and I'll just go straight out and then continue that curve around the waist and the hip and the waist. And this is how I'm getting that extra width here at the bottom so it doesn't come all the way in. Now you don't have to do that. That's just something that I wanted to do for preference, for like a little bit of a different look. We'll see how that turns out. So let me finish cutting and then we'll sew it all up. All right, we are gonna start by making darts, and I like to go ahead and cut out the pattern piece and then mark my darts on the wrong side of the fabric. The water soluble marker, so this will come out in the wash. All right, and what I like to do is, it's gonna be hard to see on here. If you want a better look at it, you can check out the tutorial for the Premier skirt, and I show a better view if you can't really see the marker on here. I go from one side to the other side, and then I fold my vent. Well, not my vent. My, this is my, why do I always forget what the name of these are? And darts, I literally just said it. And then I move forward and go and come out the other side so that my darts are even on both sides, matching them up. And I do that for all of them. Then I go a little bit higher again and make sure that I'm folding it right in the half by following with the mark that I created. Then we're going to go ahead and sew it down. And as we get closer to the edge, we start at the top, we go all the way down. As we get closer to the edge, we're going to make our stitch length shorter and then come out the other end, leaving a tail to tie it off. And we're doing that with a straight stitch. And I'm going to do that for all the, for all of these darts. I can't remember the name. All right, let's go do that. I don't back stitch, I just go right out and move on to the next one. All right, now that I finished sewing that up, here at the end, I do a little tie knot, not super tight, just a little tie. And then I'm gonna go get my iron and steam those darts back and forth. I love the way that darts just give this little extra area, but it makes it look so nice. All right, now this is where we're going to do things a tiny bit different than the pattern conventionally does it, because we're going to put in a zipper, and I'm going to put in a zipper on the side. Since the waistband is it's got the opening on the sides. So first of all, I'm going to grab my back, and I'm doing the knee length, so I don't have a vent. So we're just going to sew up that side seam together. Now, if you wanted to put the zipper on the back, you definitely can. You just would leave this not sewn yet on the back, and you would sew the sides first. But that means that your waistband, you will have to have a metal piece where you open up your waistband to sew your zipper. But since the already has the sides, then I'm just going to do it on the sides. But again, if you wanted to do the zipper on the back, you could really just go ahead and do sew the waistband on the sides and open a piece on the back where you would be adding the zipper. So you would definitely have to have add allowance to the back of the waistband. The back of the waistband, you would add allowance here, so that way you could connect it at the back. You need extra seam allowance for that. All right, so how I'm going to sew my skirt is I'm going to sew with a straight stitch on my sewing machine, and then I'm going to finish off the raw edge with my serger because of this frame, because I'm using a woven fabric. I don't want it to fray out, so that's why. And the reason why I'm going straight out and not doing the pleat is because, again, I'm using the knee length, so I don't have a pleat on this. I mean, I don't have a vent. If you're doing the longer and you do have a vent, make sure you check out the other tutorial where I show how to do the vent. The actual tutorial for this skirt, not the hack. I'm also going to go ahead and grab my skirt front, and I'm going to sew up one side. I'm not going to sew up both sides. You're going to sew up the side, the opposite side of where you want your zipper. So if you want your zipper on the left, you're going to sew up the right side together. If you want your zipper on the right, then you're going to sew up the left side together. Now you got to keep in mind which side you sewed up, because when I grab my waistband, I'm going to match up my front and back. Front waistband, I'm gonna put a mark on my back waistband so I know which one's my back waistband. Okay, which is shorter than my front. Let me find my center. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to match them right sides together, and I'm going to sew up the same thing that I did with the skirt. I sewed up the right side. Did I say, is that what I said? Let me see what side I sewed up. Okay, this is the back waistband, so make sure that you're sewing up the correct side. So I'm sewing up this side and leaving the other side open because I'm going to match them up. This is the back waistband, the front waistband, and on this side is where I'm going to attach the zipper. So I want this to match up. All right, so I'm going to sew up both the liner and the outer at just the one side. I'm adding a red clip to the back of the back waistband so I know exactly which one is my back waistband. The one with the red clip, but also the shorter one. All right, so I'm gonna sew that, and then I'll sew these two together, and then I'll attach them to the waist, and then we'll work on the zipper. So I'll show you all that. All right, our next step is to open up our waistbands and face them right sides together, the liner and outer. And we're gonna create our waistband. We're gonna sew up this top part together. This short end over here, this is the back of the waistband, this is the front of the waistband, and we're just sewing this top together. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the one side right sides together. So the front, which one's the front? Let me see. This is the front over here. So the front is going to get attached to the front side. Oh, this is the front, the one without the back seam. The front is going to attach right sides together here to the front seam. Now, if you want to see like a very detailed version of how to sew on the waistband, you can go ahead and check out the video. I'm just going to be sewing it on really quickly. That's why I'm kind of moving along with the steps, because the part that I really want to show you, the only part that I'm doing differently is I'm not adding elastic to the waist. So I'm skipping that step. And then I'm going to do the invisible zipper. So that's why I didn't sew up both sides, because I'm going to do the invisible zipper on one side. And I'm going to show you that as soon as I'm done sewing this waistband on. I'm going to show you how that's going to go. So I'm just doing both things at the same time. I'm going to sew up this waistband together, and then I'm going to sew it up right there, because this will end up encasing itself, and we'll end up doing our zipper, and we'll be basically done super quick. Alrighty, we're gonna open up our waistband here, open up that seam allowance. Honestly, this skirt has pretty good stretch, this fabric, so I could try this on baste aside and try it on and see if I could get away without doing a zipper. But I really want to show you all how to do a zipper, so that you can see how easy it is to do this hack. So I'm still gonna continue to add the zipper in. But at this point, I would say if you have a stretch fabric and you wanted to try it on and see what it does, then that's what I would do. I'm also going to move, oh, this is my serger stitch, and I should have trimmed it before it got caught on my thread, because now I have that bulk of serger stitches right there. Anyway, I can cut that one. I'm going to steam this seam up, the bottom seam towards the top, because once we attach that zipper, this is going to come forward. We're going to fold this top down, and this is going to come forward and encase this allowance here, and this will be our waistband. So this is what it looks like from this side, and then from this side is going to be like this. So you can go ahead and steam that a 1/2 inch down. I should have probably done that earlier. All right, now for this skirt, I'm going to be using a 7 to 9 inch zipper, an invisible zipper. If your fabric is very thin and, you know, like not great, you may want to add some interfacing to where we're going to add our zipper, which is going to be right on the side. So you may want to add some interfacing on the inside of the skirt right here along where the zipper is going to go. I think this fabric is going to be okay. And here's my zipper here. This is the right side of my zipper. I'm going to place the right side of my zipper right on top of my side of my fabric. And you see where this zipper stops, the zipper stop, that's going to come right at this half of the waistband because we're going to encase it into the waistband when we sew the waistband closed. So we're going to place it so that that top comes right where it ends, because then we're going to sew it together like so, and it will be in there like that. This is the edge where it'll come to right there. So when this gets encased here and sewn and turned around, it'll just be the little top of the zipper. All right, so I'm going to place my zipper right at that seam. Okay, the zipper stopper, and I'm going to attach it to that right side of the one side of the skirt. And I'll stop about 1 inch away from the bottom of the zipper stopper at the bottom. Here. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to use my zipper foot, and I'm going to go as close as I can to my zipper. Actually, I almost forgot. Before I do that, I want to sew up my raw edge. I don't want it to start fraying. So I'm going to go to my serger and actually sew this raw edge with my serger to finish it off. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my zipper back on and sew it just like I showed you. But I almost forgot to sew the raw edge. You want to do that so it doesn't fall apart. All right. I'm going to change my regular foot to my zipper foot. I also have my blind hem foot ready because I think I am going to be doing a blind hem on this skirt, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so now I've got my zipper there. Remember that notch comes right up to that center fold of the waistband, not the fold up here, but the first fold, because that's the one that's going to come over. And then we're going to go through my zipper foot and go as close as possible and sew that zipper on. All right, there is my one side of my zipper. It looks so good. All right, so now I've got one side done. You can see it there. I've got the other side here, so I'm going to bring the other side around and I'm going to match it right sides together, the other side of the zipper, right sides together with the other side of the skirt. So you want the right sides to be down, matching up the same thing. That top goes right along the edge of the waistband, and we're going to sew that on, right sides together. I leave like a 1/4 inch allowance here at the edge. I think I have that allowance give right here, and so that way also you won't see my serged edge there when I sew it. See how that's gonna look really good? Let's sew that. All right, here's my other zipper, doing the same thing. I'm starting at this end, going as close as possible to the zipper. So if you turn it, your zipper should be good to go. And when you steam it, it will look really nice right there. Okay, what we're gonna do here at the bottom, it's gonna look so good, is we're gonna match up this side seams here and sew it closed. So the side seam closed. Now, if you had a pleat or whatever on it, and then you would do your pleat if you were doing the longer version. But I'm just gonna sew this right here, letting the zipper hang out here at the bottom, and then go back here. And then here at the waist, what we're going to do is we're gonna come over. This is gonna get folded in. So that edge will get folded in, that first edge, like so. And then once it's folded in the seam allowance, this gets folded down the top, and it gets top stitched right over. Well, let me cut this end of the zipper tape so it doesn't give me a hard time folding down. Because you're folding down to that edge right there that comes along where my edge of my skirt is right there, because this covers up this edge right here, and it will get sewn down, and that will be my zipper right there. You see that? So I can go ahead and actually, I'm gonna cut it all the way down, because this little bulk right here is not, I don't like it. Cutting my zipper tape all the way down to where my, kind of trimming it down because it's a little bulky. There's the zipper stopper right there. I'm not cutting the zipper stopper. The zipper stopper is still there. So here's the edge of my skirt. I'm gonna fold that allowance in here at the top, so that when I fold it, see how the zipper folds out like this? That seam allowance goes in like this. Seam allowance goes in. Then I'm gonna fold this up top here where we folded that first ½ inch fold that's already pre-folded. And then we're gonna fold at the seam right here. And that will trap my zipper stopper right there, so that we can stitch it right along the edge. Now, the best way to do this is honestly to do some like steam seam or something like that to hold that down so that it doesn't move on you when you're sewing it down. Steam seam like kind of seals that seam right there, so you can close it and top stitch it down. And you want to pin it, and then you're going to go over to your sewing machine and top stitch that waistband closed. Remember, the top seam is what's at the top. And then here on this other side, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to fold that seam allowance in, lift this up, fold the seam allowance in, fold that little ½ inch down. Whoops, first I'm going to cut. Well, let's see, because it's like, it's so bulky here. So it gets turned down. I guess this, because the tape was a little bit folded down and it was okay. Just make sure that the seam allowance, that tape allowance, that extra tape gets cut right there. No, I'm gonna cut it. It's too bulky for me. There's a lot of tape. It's like ooh, okay, thought he got on the iron. So I want to cut it. All right, there we go. Fold it down, fold it over that tape, and over that seam. And that's it. And then all we've got to do after that will be to try it on and hem it, and we'll be done with our skirt. I'll show you. I'll close it up when we're done. If you want to top stitch the zipper, you can, but here at the bottom, after I sew it together, I'm going to do a zigzag back and forth right here to close up the end here. So I'll do that at the same time as well. I'm going to change it back to my regular foot. Probably should have gone the other way so I didn't have to bring my skirt all the way through, but I didn't. I started right where I left off with my zipper, and I'm going to keep going. Alright, when I turn it around, right here at the bottom of my zipper, I will see that I've got this little space right here. I want to sew back and forth to close up my zipper. So my zipper stopper is not going to fly off. I mean, my zipper itself is not going to fly off. And now we're just going to go ahead and hem. My zipper is done. And I'm going to go ahead and hem the skirt and we'll be done. All right, I tried on my skirt and I think I cut a side, the length was a little too long. I wanted it to be above the knee, and it's right now it's right below the knee. So I'm cutting a whole inch off first. Okay, and then I'm going to hem it like a whole inch. So I'm going to go finish that raw edge first. Then I'm going to hem it. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the blind hem. All right, so all I did was go to my serger and finish off that raw edge because I wanted it to be finished. You can do that with a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine or however you want to. And now I'm going to fold up like a whole inch is what I want my hem to be. I want this to be like a really thick hem because I feel like nice, like, good look quality skirts have a really nice hem to them, and I think that this is gonna just add to it. And I am going to do a blind hem because, again, this is gonna be like a really nice skirt, so I wanted to have like that luxe feeling where it's like that blind hem you can't even see. So I'm gonna teach you how to do that. So excited, I'm almost done. All right, we gotta use our blind hem foot. Where did I put it? No, this is not it. Hold on. Hold on. Thought I took it out. Oh, here it is. For my machine is an R foot. It has this little piece right here that helps you know exactly where to place the fabric. And for my machine, again, I have a foot, and then I have the button, which I'm going to show you what it is. It's number 21 on my machine. Let me show you what that looks like. Number 21 looks like this. That one right there. That's number 21. What it's going to do is it's going to have a stitch, one stitch here along the edge, and then a running stitch on the inside, and then flip over and do one stitch and then a running stitch. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let me show you how I do that. All right, to do that, I'm going to grab it from the wrong side. I'm like, what? I can't remember. From the wrong side, and I'm going to grab, see, here's my fold that I created. I'm grabbing my fabric after the fold and I'm bringing it over so that the fold is, the crease is there. So I'm bringing enough so that it's folded still at the crease. If you look in this side, it'll be folded at the crease like that. This is my crease right here, and this is my fabric that's coming over the crease. So let me open it. There's the crease right there, folded the fabric over, and I want to place it like along the edge of my serged hem. See how I have like a little piece of hem hanging here, because that's where the stitch is going to run along. I'm going to place that fabric right under that piece that's in the middle of my foot. It's touching the fold of the fabric here, right along the fold, because it's going to go down. The needle's going to go down and come on that side. Let me zoom in and show you. The needle's going to be coming back and forth right here. See, it's going on this side, then flip over and do one stitch, and then come back over, then flip and do one stitch. I'm looking at the needle instead of looking at the fabric. So you want this fabric fold to be running right along the edge of this little fold here. I actually might have messed up because I was over here looking at the needle instead of looking at my fabric, so I'll have to go back and check that out. But that's going to be running along the whole side, and if you're having trouble, you may want to pin it first. I don't pin it, I just kind of go for it because that's the type of person I am. Alright, I'm going to show you what the other side looks like. The stitch is running along here, and when you open it and you steam it, hold on, let me zoom out so you can really see it, because it is magic. I don't even know if you can even see the stitch running along there. There's a little stitch right there. I have to zoom in again so you can kind of at least get a peek of the stitch. Let me try to get you to look at the stitch. You can't even see it. I'm gonna have to like show you when I'm standing on the shadow. I'm making a shadow because of the fact that it's so close up. There it is. I think that's better. There's a stitch running along there. Here's where I cut it a little bit, so you can kind of see the longer stitch here where I cut it. But on this side, it's stuck. On this side, there's a little stitch, and I'm gonna take you over to the other side and show it to you once I'm done, so you can really see it in the day, in the light. It's such a great stitch. I'm gonna continue to do that. All right, here's a very good close-up. You can see the little stitch right there, but you can't really see it very well, and this is what it looks like on the inside. You can see the stitch there, but it's basically invisible. And if you use the same color as your fabric, you can barely see it. Now keep in mind too that if you have a very nice fine fabric, you can use a very nice fine thread, and then it will blend in so nicely. But we're done. Let me show you what that looks like on. All right, friends, we are done with this sew, and I think it turned out super cute. Here's my zipper. It looks really good on. It fits perfectly. I'm pairing it today with the Diana top. I think this pairing looks adorable, but I think it also will look super cute with a tucked in shirt. And I am thinking about hacking the Diana pattern to be a bodysuit, hopefully, or even with the puff sleeve bodysuit. It will look super, super cute. I think it's just, I'm going to be making a whole lot more. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you never miss any of our tutorials. Comment below and let me know if you learned something new. Did you like the blind hem? Or did you like how to insert the zipper? I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.